Hello, I'm Daniel, and welcome to the Emunah Project. We here at the Emunah Project are continuing in our series of videos with respect to information, education, inspiration, guidance, advice. And I want to continue on the subject, the very important subject, of Lashon Hara. Literally a wicked tongue, an evil tongue, evil speech, malicious gossip, tale-bearing, and specifically with respect to Miriam. In the book of Numbers, Miriam starts talking about Moses with respect to his wife, the Cushite woman. Cush being south of Egypt, whether it's southern Egypt, where the Nubians were, or whether it was what we now call Ethiopia, further up on the Nile. There was talk about her. I'm not going to get into the details of what the talk was. I'm just going to concentrate on the Lashon Hara and what we can glean from the text. It was Rav Shmuel Truvitz who found that the root of the sin it was in God's reprimand to Aaron and Miriam in verse 8. Why did you not fear to speak about my servant, about Moshe, about Moses? These glaring words speak of not only the nature but of the depth of their sin. They didn't fear talking about Moses. Did they not realize who Moses was, what he represented, his exalted position, not just to the Jewish people, but his position in his unparalleled virtue, his piety, his relationship with God? How did they dare speak about Moshe as if he was just some guy, or even on a parallel with other great, righteous, holy people? They did not properly appreciate his preeminence. They placed him on the same pedestal as other Nevi'im, as other prophets. This is in itself, this was a grave error, indicating their inaccurate perception of Moses' greatness. And this is the essence of Lashon Hara. We neither fully realize nor appreciate a person's true nature. Aaron and Miriam underestimated Moses, and we frequently do not judge people in the full context. We don't judge them favorably. We don't ascribe to them their proper prestige and recognition. A failure to hold an individual in proper esteem, that's the seed from which Lashon Hara germinates. And this applies to all forms of Lashon Hara. The specific prohibition against actual speech, articulating slander against someone, but the origin of the malicious speech, whether you're telling something that's true or telling something that's a lie, whether you're hinting at it broadly or saying something in a way that, while not mentioning the person's name, the other person can figure out who it is. It results it results from this, giving a person less recognition than he should deserve. Another example, Miriam is usually the prime example, the paradigm. The spies that the Meraglim who went into Israel, that Moses sent to Israel to check out the land. Is it fortified? Is there pasture? Is there fresh water? And they come back. 2 of them says, "We can take it. We can take them. It's great. It's fantastic." 10, they spoke Lashon Hara. They said, "Well, the land is full of giants, and we feel we're like ants compared to them, and it's fortified, and it's hopeless." And the people hearing this had a certain degree of sympathy with that position. They didn't recognize the gift that the Creator was giving to the Jewish people. They didn't fully recognize. They were blind to all of the good qualities of the land of Israel. They didn't give it the proper esteem. They didn't give it the proper respect, the proper appreciation. And while they were up, they hinted rather broadly that they did not estimate, they didn't have bitachon, they didn't have trust in God's ability to bring them into this nation, into the promised land. And the punishment for the Lashon Hara, 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, being kept away from the land of Israel. 2 generations. The generations that were around at the time of the Spies, most of them died out. And the people who had the schus, had the merit to actually come in and conquer the land, were the Israelites who grew up knowing nothing but Judaism. They did not have that slave mentality from the people who came out of Egypt. And they were able to appreciate the land they were coming into. It was Rav Chaim Shmuelevitz, that the 40 days of looking, as it were, with closed eyes, and this myopic vision, and not correctly perceiving Hashem's precious gift to the Israelites, that instigated their slanderous speech. That disregard, as we said before, that's where the seed of Lashon Hara germinates. Sad to say, 3,500 years later, people have not changed all that much. We still speak in Lashon Hara, sadly, and the origin of our disparaging comments have not changed much. We disregard people. We think they are less than what they are. And this is especially true with respect to Torah scholars and educators, people who've devoted their entire life to Torah. Sadly, I heard a young woman I know make a comment with respect to a rabbi that we both knew, and I was stunned to hear her disregard against a man who has literally devoted and dedicated his entire life to Torah, talking about him as if he was just some ordinary zhlub in the synagogue. It was shocking. Whether it's a lack of perception on our part, failure to appreciate, to perceive a person, whether a person's nature is to go out of his way to seek the negative in someone, to exploit a shortcoming, to accentuate a person's flaws and failings and faults. Let's look to the origin of Lashon Hara, because maybe if by looking at what causes this seed to germinate, what brings it about, we can nip it in the bud. Don't wait until you're already on a roll talking about somebody. It's too late. The tongue is they say the tongue is the strongest muscle because it can destroy almost anything. Concentrate on the origins, and maybe we can stop the horrible, horrible curse of Lashon Hara, of evil speech amongst each other. We're going to be doing more videos along these lines. Please come back, please watch, please learn, and until next time, on behalf of the Emunah Project, I'm Daniel, and thank you so much.